Hi, math friends. Let's review our percentages study guide together. First, we have with our basic part, which is converting to a decimal. Now, you have to remember when we do this, 105%. We're going to remove the percent. The decimal begins after the 5. So our key here is to divide by 100, right? So to divide by 100, quickly, we take our decimal, move it 2 spaces to the left, 2 place values to the left, and now as a decimal, this is 1.05. This is useful because when we multiply with this, this is the number that we would use. So same idea with the number 1. The decimal is just to the right of the 1. So I'm going to take that, move it 2 spaces left, which is the same as dividing by 100. It ends up here. In this case, we have this empty space that we put a 0 in. So we could put 1/100th or 0.01. You could also put a 0 at the beginning. Either way is okay, whatever you're comfortable with. All right, going to a percentage then, I have 123 thousandths, or 0.123. This time we're going to multiply by 100. So, how do we do that? We take our decimal, and we move it 2 spaces to the right, and this becomes 12 and 3/10, or 12.3%. Same thing with our next one, 300ths, or 0.03. So we move our decimal 2 spaces to the right, which is multiplying by 100, and we end up with 3%. Converting to a fraction, if you know the word percent, remember per means of, cent means 100. 3% means literally 3 out of 100. And if we know our place value well here, this 5 is in the hundredths place. So I'm going to remove the decimal and all the zeros over to that side. This is 5 hundredths. Now we're going to look at some real world situations. Your restaurant bill is $89.34. You want to leave a tip that is 18%. And the question here is, well, how much of a tip will you leave, and what is the total bill? So first, let's find the tip. I got to get $89.34 times. Remember, we got to make this into a decimal. So when I do that, I get 1608. And I need to show my work here too. To get our total, we're going to take $89.34 plus 1608. And we get a total of 105.42. Now you can do all these on your calculator, but we need to write down this to show the work, to show that we know what we're doing. So we have two answers here. We have our tip is $16.08, and we have our total, which is 105.42. Move that up into the line. There we go. All right. Next, we have the Nintendo Switch 2.0 is $399.99. Nintendo is giving you 12% off for being a loyal customer. How much will you save? So I still have to find 12% of that. So when we do that, we get 47, and it looks like it's almost $48, because realistically, when we round up, that is going to be $48. 99 cents and then an 8 after it. Yeah, that's $48. So we're getting a $48 discount. Hey, that's pretty good. It's $48 off. So remember, that's a discount. So we do our original price minus the discount, and we end up with $351.99. So our total after the discount is $351.99. All right, so we're going to look at this next one, writing a proportion here. So it says you scored 17 points on a test, which is 91%. Create and solve a proportion to find how many points were on the test. Let's start with probably the easier part of this, 91%. Remember from everything we've learned, percent means out of 100. Also remember we have our part to whole. So I'm going to go, what's the part of this? Well, you scored 17. That's not the total points. So 17 out of x. Now we're going to use our cross products like we learned before. So this is 91x equals 100 times 17, 1,700. And divide by the coefficient there of x, divide by 91. x equals 1700 divided by 91. You get about 18 and 68 hundredths. So since these are, points problems on a test, we're going to round that up to the next whole number. So we can say there were 19 points on the test. And that'll be our final answer there. All right. If you're still watching at this point, I want you to see the word Super Bowl here. I'm going to erase this box in a minute. If you write the word Super Bowl at the bottom of your test, you will get some extra credit. So thanks for watching this whole thing and really paying attention. So this ring is valued at $5,000. Since you kept it in mint condition, the value increased to $5,675. What percent did it increase by? So in general here, when we're looking for a percent increase or decrease, we have to find the difference. Remember, difference means we subtract. It's the solution to a subtraction problem. And we divide that by the original. Or if you want to be cool like me, you can say OG. So we're going to divide it by the original. So what is the difference there then? Well, that's the 5,000, and this is the absolute value of the original. So we subtract them both. If I subtract it this way, I do get a negative number, negative 675, right? So take the absolute value. So I'm going to take 675. So let's do 675 divided by the original by 5,000. All right. And if we do that right on our calculator, it looks like we get 0.135 or 135 thousandths. Make that into a percent by multiplying by 100, move it 2 spaces right. I get 13.5%. All right, let's check out our next one here. Mr. Cherigi bought a new Lexus for $90,000. When he brought it home, however, the value went down by 5%. How much did this decrease by? So again, we need to find 5% of that value, so 90,000 times 5%. So it decreases by $4,500. And then the next question is, what is its worth now? So let's take our starting value, 90,000. Minus 4,500. It is now worth 85,500. Let's write our answers more neatly. We can say the decrease was $4,500, and then the value now is 85,500. Circle those to show final answers, and there we go. All right, next we have you found new AirPods at Target for you found new AirPods for $50.49 at Target. They're offering a 10% coupon for getting a flu shot. Stores like Target typically do something like this to try to get you in there. How much money will you save? So how much will you save? Not what's the total value, but how much will you save, right? So let's start with our value, $54.99. We got to find 10% of it. So it's 5.499. All right, so when we round that, remember we got to round to the pennies. The 9 is going to round the other 9 up to 10, but we can't have a 10, so this is really 550. And that 10% is our savings because we're getting 10% off. So we can say we will save $5.50. All right, we'll circle our final answer, and there we go. We have 2 more left here. Number 7 is about simple interest, and number 8 is about tax. So let's check out this simple interest one first. Mr. Brakovich deposited $500 into a simple interest account at a rate of 3% for 8 years. So let's think of our simple interest. I equals P R T. All right, so let's look at this way. I is what we earn. P is principal, it's what we begin with. R is the rate, and T is the time. Let's start substituting or replacing what we can. 8 years in time, I see that pretty easily. The rate is 3%. Well, we got to use that as a decimal, that's fine. And the principal and the income. Okay, so So this is where it gets a little tricky. Which is which, right? Deposited 5,000. So when you deposit something, you put that in. So we're starting with that. So this is our starting value. There's deposited 500. I read that wrong. Okay. And I, we don't know yet. So I goes here. And we simply multiply all those. And we should end up with 120. So we can say he earns $120 at the end of 8 years. Seems like a long time, but that's how much you're earning on only a 3% earnings. All right, number 8, Old Navy is running a sale, 4 pairs of jeans for $70. If they have a sales tax of 9.5%, how much will you pay in tax? How much will you pay total? So, piece of extra information is this number 4, right? Remember, we don't always pay attention to the numbers, we pay attention to what they do. So that's $70 is our total first. But there's a sales tax, 9.5%. So we got to find how much the tax is. So if we multiply that, we get $6.65. Remember a tax. What are we going to do? Add or subtract? Well, you pay more with the tax, so you add it. So this total then is $76.65. Let's write our two answers on the bottom here. In the answer space provided, $6.65 is the tax, and $76.65 is the total. All right. So I hope that helps. Go back, use this as much as you need to, and work hard. You can do it.